All right, let's talk about the Forsyth County real estate market. Everybody has an opinion on it, right? We've all heard the stories. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We are diving deep into a full year's worth of actual sales data to figure out what's really going on.
If you're even kicking around the idea of a move, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is now the right time to buy? Is it the right time to sell? You see all these conflicting headlines, and it's just really tough to know if you're making the right move.
But here's the thing. While the market feels super complicated, the data tells a surprisingly clear story. When you actually look at the numbers, you start to see these patterns emerge, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to follow that data and uncover the real story of the last 12 months.
Okay, so let's get into it. And to help us make sense of all these numbers, we are leaning on the expert analysis of Fannie Fleming with ERA Live More. With almost 30 years of experience right here in this market, she has this incredible ability to see the story behind the stats.
Now, this is probably the single biggest insight from Fannie Fleming's analysis. It is a huge mistake to think of Forsyth County as just one big single market, because it's not. The data shows it's really three totally different markets, and each one is marching to the beat of its own drum. So let's break them down. You've got the luxury tier, we're talking homes over $1 million. Then there's the big one, the mid-market, which is everything from about $350,000 up to $750,000. And finally, you have the entry-level tier for everything under $350K. And believe me, your experience is going to be completely different depending on which of these tiers you're playing in. So up first, the luxury tier. Think of those beautiful, established neighborhoods like Buena Vista or Brookberry Farm. This is where the real high-stakes negotiations happen. It's a whole different ballgame, and having a seriously skilled negotiator on your side isn't just nice, it's absolutely essential. Now for the mid-market, this right here is the engine of the entire county. It is humming. Why? Well, it's just this perfect mix of tons of new construction happening in places like Haynes Lake and huge demand from families. And unlike that luxury tier, homes here, they tend to sell very, very close to the asking price. And then we've got the entry-level tier, which is just this fascinating blend of old and new. You've got these charming older neighborhoods like Ardmore, and right alongside them, you have brand new townhome developments popping up, especially out toward Kernersville. It's a part of the market with a whole lot of variety. So we have our three tiers, but what about what a house actually sells for? This is where things get really interesting. We're seeing everything from wild bidding wars to houses needing massive price drops just to get sold. The final outcome can be completely different depending on the house and, just as importantly, the strategy. It's almost never as simple as just paying the list price. You might be gearing up for a fight in a bidding war, or you could be settling in for a long strategic negotiation. And this just says it all. Check this out. This is a real example from Buena Vista. The home was listed at $1.45 million, and it's sold for over $1.62 million. That is more than $175,000 over the asking price. And listen, this doesn't just happen in the luxury market. We see this all the time for well-kept homes in great school districts. But then you have this, the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This ultra-luxury home was first listed for $6.5 million. It sold for almost $3 million less than that. It just shows you how wild the top of the market can be. And look, you might not see million-dollar drops in the mid-market, but an overpriced home can still sit and need some serious price adjustments. It just hammers home the point that you need an expert like Fannie Fleming who knows which of these situations you're walking into. You really can't get the full picture of the Forsyth market right now without talking about new construction. It is a huge factor, and it influences everything from the incentives buyers get to those really confusing days-on-market numbers you see online. You've probably heard this term thrown around, seller concessions, especially with new homes. So what is it? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just money that the seller, usually the builder, gives back to the buyer to help them out. It can go towards their closing costs or even be used to buy down their mortgage interest rate. And the amount can vary a lot. Fannie Fleming's research shows that builders in some of these new neighborhoods might offer over $18,000 in concessions. Now compare that to a resale home where you might get a few thousand to help with repairs. It's a massive difference, and it can really change your monthly payment. Okay, this is a big one. You've seen it, right? You're scrolling online, you see a brand new house that just sold, and it says 0 days on market. And you're thinking, wait, how is that even possible? Did it sell before it was even listed? Well, here's the inside scoop on that. A lot of times, the builder will list the home in the official system on the very same day the buyer signs the contract, which can be months and months before the house is even finished. The system only records the final sale when the keys are handed over, so it looks like it's sold in a single day. It's a little quirk in the data that's super misleading if you don't know what you're looking at.
Okay, so we've looked at the different market tiers, we've talked about pricing, we've even demystified new construction. But what does any of this mean for you? How do you take all these big picture trends and turn them into a strategy that actually works for you and your family?
I love this quote from Fannie Fleming because it really gets to the heart of the matter. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about your life. It's a huge life transition, and the data only matters when we put it in the context of your goals.
So how do you do it? How do you build that personal strategy? Well, first, you have to get the data for your specific neighborhood, not just the county as a whole. Second, you got to get really clear on what you want, your timeline, your finances, the whole picture. And third, and this is so important, you have to partner with an expert who's going to give it to you straight, no confusing jargon. And honestly, that's what Fannie Fleming has been doing for her clients for nearly 3 decades.
Because here's the truth. Every single person's journey is unique. The right strategy for a first-time buyer in Kernersville is going to be totally different from the right strategy for someone selling their family home in Clemens. A cookie-cutter approach just will not work.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. The market isn't just random chaos. It actually has very clear patterns. But knowing how to navigate those patterns, that takes a personal guide, someone who gets the data, but more importantly, gets you.
So, if you're feeling ready to start turning all this information into a real plan for your next move, the best thing you can do is just start a conversation. You can reach out to Fannie Fleming with ERA Livemore directly. Her number is 336-817-5134, and you can find her online at fanniefleming.com.
And that really brings us to our final thought. We've talked about the data, we've talked about the strategy, but the real question is, what does your next chapter look like? Thanks so much for tuning in.